Social science education relies heavily on visual graphics. Films, photographs, slides, maps and flowcharts are often used to explain the concepts of place, movement, interaction and change. Some of the problems experienced by visually impaired children in geography classrooms are that they are denied access to shared learning experiences because a substantial amount of this supporting material is visual. This makes it quite difficult for the visually impaired child to achieve geographic literacy. There are basically two strategies a teacher can use to meet these needs: adaptation of the curriculum or a change of the curriculum. Adaptation of the same curriculum offered to sighted children has been the traditional approach in teaching visually impaired children. This mode of instruction relies heavily on oral and recitation techniques and the tactual replication of visual materials. Under this model, auditory or tactual presentations are translated directly from existing instructional materials that were intended for sighted students. While it is advocated that visually impaired children have access to the same information as their sighted peers, the solution is yet merely to recreate this information in a form perceptible by their remaining senses. Words cannot always be substituted for pictures. Illustration cannot merely be raised images or enlargements of existing visual forms. It is important to carefully structure the learning activities for visually impaired children so they are capable of comprehending and developing key concepts. This means that teachers need to develop multisensory materials that are meaningful to the visually impaired student as well as other students in the classroom. There are a variety of methods teachers can use to produce and reproduce the graphic materials depending on the need of the student. The majority of students, approximately 70% of the visually impaired child population, use large print, regular print or magnified regular print. These students cannot merely be given an existing visual graphic to use. Illustrations or maps that are printed in regular type are too detailed and complex for many partially sighted children to read. The images often have multiple grey shades in the form of half tones or colors. Merely enlarging the image with some optical device does not make it any easier for them to read it. Illustration need to be designed so that extraneous details is eliminated when it interferes with legibility. For the totally blind or severely partially sighted student, the graphic information will need to be in tactual form. Unfortunately, it is all too common practice to exclude graphs, illustrations or maps from Braille textbooks. In their places, a caption reads, "Illustration omitted, see teacher." This approach restricts the visually impaired students' perception and concept of what that map or graphic could have communicated to them. The description is left entirely up to the subjective interpretation of the teacher. The child is not able to form his or her own ideas from the information presented, but rather is given the idea from the teacher's perspective. Creating tactual graphics and maps requires special design considerations. The graphics and maps cannot simply be raised forms of the visual product. When designed properly, tactual maps have been shown to be effective teaching devices, and visually impaired children are quite successful in using these maps for improving their concepts of space and geography. The maps allow them to link abstract terms to the real world. Students tutored with maps demonstrate impressive gains in their knowledge of place and relationships. Some students may encounter perceptual, cognitive and behavioral problems when initially faced with reading a tactual map, and teachers need to be aware that there are substantial individual variations in visually impaired children's map reading skills. These differences are thought to be a result of differences in tactual sensitivity, tracing skills, scanning strategies, ability to identify and discriminate, motivation, map reading experience, and quality of the tactual image. The way a map is used is also an important factor in comprehension. Take for example, mobility maps used for pedestrian travel. The skill required to coordinate the reading of the map with actual travel is a complex and difficult task. Congenitally blind children usually have little or no previous map experience. Initially, they exhibit poorer conceptual understanding of the map and its relationship than the adventitiously blind do, and they have a difficult time associating a map with reality. After limited exposure and map training, however, their tactual map reading skills improve. They are able to use maps in the same manner as the adventitiously blind. One method of facilitating map reading and comprehension is to start with simple versions of maps and build a hierarchy of knowledge with subsequent maps containing additional elements. Instead of presenting students with one map containing the boundaries of states, rivers and areas of corn production and wheat production, a teacher can provide students with a number of maps which might include an outline map of the states, then a map that has corn production areas added to the river and state map. This method utilizes an additive approach to the conceptual and geographic knowledge a child will form about a place and is advocated as a method for learning for all children, whether visually impaired or sighted. Tables and charts leave space between groups of information but keep the data in the correct columns. In graphs, separate bars with spaces. When filling in bars, use diagonal lines, as horizontal and vertical lines can be confused with the bar shape. If filling in graphs with textures, be careful to not create visual clutter. When using a line graph, be sure to use lines that vary significantly and are easy to follow. In maps, keep the information presented on the map as simple as possible. Solid textures are easier to discriminate than just outlining shapes. Use materials that are tactually different. When creating map bases, use cardboard, cardboard or ceiling tiles. For lines, twine, plastic, coated wire, yarn we can use. For points, hole punched circles, nail heads or small beads can be used. For secondary information, felt, soft fabric can be used. And significant information, sandpaper or textured paper and fabric can be used. Blind children need to learn in a gradual developmental way that there are systems for displaying real things in abstract form. This learning must be led by a skilled, qualified teacher of the visually impaired. Each new use of tactile graphics will require instruction from the teacher of the visually impaired. We should not try to reproduce three-dimensional pictures in raised line form. No raised line picture will be three-dimensional to a blind child. Bigger is not necessary, better when it comes to tactile graphics. When the fingers of one hand cannot encompass a tactile graphic, we are expecting the blind child to have a spatial sense that she may not possess. While it may be desirable to have standards for tactile graphics, one shape always means the same thing. This is not likely to happen. Blind people themselves feel differently about tactile graphics. The following concepts and skills have to be developed for children with visual impairment in social science classes: map reading, positional and directional concepts, eye-hand coordination and eye-feet coordination, sequential skills, logical memory, logical thinking, logical reasoning, skill of judgment, skill of concluding, scales and measurement, concept of country, continent, land area and water surface. These concepts and skills can be developed through oral instruction with sufficient braille or large print material will be suitable except for a few typical areas in social studies. Provide first-hand experience by taking children to historical places, temples, hills, rivers, museums and archives with special permission to touch and feel the objects and develop concepts. Explaining historical events to encourage collecting historical stones, coins and used articles as an efficient teaching methodology. Map is the representation on a flat surface of all parts of the Earth's surface to show physical, political or other features, each point on the diagram corresponding to a geographical position according to a definite scale and projection. Maps is a location guide for both Earth features and human distribution elements. It is also a means for putting related things together. It is an abstract representation of the real environment as the 3D structure of the real environment is represented in 2D pictures or drawings. The objectives of map instruction are to develop the ability to form a mental picture of a geographical area. Improve the ability to draw inferences from the facts learned from a map. For example, knowing physical features, climate or region. Understand varied map symbols. Familiarize positional concepts by grasping ideas regarding spatial relationships and directions in maps. Acquire the ability to express theoretical data in diagrammatic representation. For example, population in bar and pie diagram. Arouse interest in attaining the skills of using landmarks and reference points for thorough map reading. Children with visual impairment have little experience with map reading skill and geography concepts. Three-dimensional concepts represented in two-dimensional maps will naturally have conceptual problem. They cannot understand maps when they are overloaded with information. They got confused with the boundary lines of a country, rivers and state boundaries since they feel curved lines are similar. It is difficult to understand the spatial relationships and scale values. Children with visual impairment are able to understand the different features of the map by gathering information in place by place and not as a whole, since they largely depend on the sense of touch. Total experience is not possible in fingertips for the children with visual impairment. Tactile materials are an alternative but not substitute for visual aids. Large maps cannot be understood as a whole by children with visual impairment as is done by sighted children, as eyes movement is much more quickly than that of finger. The young student who is forming concepts of geography must have maps and globes he or she can use. If print is not appropriate, braille maps and globes should be provided. The regular reading readiness activities may be helpful to the student with poor skills in using his or her hands. After all, if the student cannot easily tell a triangle from a square or determine which symbol is smaller, then he will not do well with a regular braille map. Even good braille readers may do poorly in these skills, and these ideas may be used at any age level. We can adapt braille reading readiness books for the beginners to develop map reading skills. These usually have many pages of simple raised shapes of various sizes, circles, squares and triangles. There may be several on a page in various positions. Often these can be used for elementary map practice. Using simple pages of this type, devise basic map skill lessons, designating symbols as you see fit. You can see several circles in a row horizontally. Using this, you can ask the child, these are cities. Show me the city that is farthest east and west. You can see circles, triangles and squares. You can use this as, this is a map of a park, the circle is a fountain, the triangle an evergreen tree and the square a flower garden. Look them over and then show me how to walk from the tree to the flower bed without getting wet. You can see 3 triangles of graduated sizes. You can use this as, the larger the symbol, the larger the city. Show me the largest city and the smallest city. Attach letter labels to certain shapes and explain, A is apple city, and make a braille key. Make a floor plan of the school and a simple map of the student's immediate home neighborhood. Try to provide a selection of map skill sheets plus maps of continents and regions. With a little adaptation and explanation, a basic political map of India can be used for almost any map work about India. For a general map skills unit, consider using a ready-made package which is equivalent but not exactly the same. Customizing and producing braille maps for one student is so time consuming as to warrant the strongest consideration of other alternatives. For the partially sighted, laminate bold line outline maps of the countries and regions. These can be written or drawn on with marker or crayon, then wiped off and used again. Temporary labels can be attached in many ways. Form a short segment of masking tape into a loop or buy double stick tape and apply to the back of a label, or attach small flags to pins and tag the map to a soft board. For practice or testing purpose, remove one or more labels and have the student put them back, or replace keyed labels with simple number labels and ask the student to tell what each represents. Braille maps are usually not as precise or uniform as print maps. Often it is unfair to practice with one map and then give a test with a different one. Changing or removing labels as above is one way to give a test fairly. Sometimes a complex map is more meaningful if broken down into two or more simple maps. For example, a state map with a great deal of information might be reproduced as 3 braille maps: countries, major cities and highways, and rivers. Ways to make various kinds of dots include the Perkins Brailler or the slate, pushing with either end of a pen or pencil, or with the stylus from a braille slate into paper that is on a soft surface, gluing on seeds, beads or other objects. Tactually different lines must be used to show different things, for example, country lines, roads and rivers. Otherwise, when lines cross on a tactile map, it will be hard to know which line goes where. Various ways to make lines include any of the above dots in series, a tracing wheel or wheels, steady or interrupted, gluing on string or yarn, cutting the ends with razor blade for precision. Except on the very simplest and most uncluttered maps, labels should be abbreviated and keyed. Try to make the abbreviations logical. For example, SW for swimming pool and PG for playground would be much more easily remembered than an arbitrary A and B. Save space by using no capital dots. Graph paper with raised lines or bold lines can be used for practice with latitude and longitude. Ink for easy way to enlarge a map. A photocopier with enlarging capabilities may produce a suitable map for a large print user. The enlarged copy may also be traced with felt pen or a tracing wheel, using a carbon paper to compensate for reversal with the later. Alternatively, tape a large piece of paper on the wall and use an opaque projector to create a very large image. Trace over the image with pencil, then the paper can be taken down and used to make a bold line map or a braille map. Especially for the beginner, it is helpful for the student actually to face north while studying a map. Let the child explore the outline map by himself. The child should be told about the geographic location of the place in terms of direction. He should be informed that New Delhi is in the northern region of the country. It helps the child to identify the location only in the upper half of the map. Position of the place is start. The children may be asked to explore the outline of the map and identify the important reflexes. For example, a significant curve, uneven surface or a straight shoreline could be used as clues and reference points in locating the particular place in the map. The significant reference point which is close to the place to be located could be selected. In case of New Delhi, the curve which is located in Himachal Pradesh and Uttar Pradesh exteriority could be considered as the place of reference. The clock concept, which is a technique used in fixing direction in mobility, could be used. New Delhi is in the 2 o'clock direction when 12 o'clock faces the body. The distance depends upon the size of the map. In a practice map out of cork or fiber sheet and with the dimension 2 inch by 1.5 inch, the approximate distance from the reference point may be 2 inches. That means Delhi is located in the 2 o'clock direction at the distance of 2 inch from the reference point. To find out whether the desired objectives have been met, to make the students realize the importance of learning social science, to understand the concepts and skills in social science and applying the skill of map reading and interpretation in their everyday life. Provide question papers in suitable modes such as braille, large print, scribe, in audio cassette or orally to children with visual impairment according to their need. Should be given full flexibility to give the answers in any mode of answering. During exam, for evaluation in map reading ability, the child can show and mark the specified places in embossed map. In geography map, the child may be asked to show a particular region. A crayon pencil may be used to shade the surface. The wax of the crayon may help the child to refer to the answer again. In case of air routes, after locating the particular spots, the child may be oriented to use rubber bands to connect those places. If the child cannot write or label the names in the map, a scribe's help should be taken to interpret the answers. Full marks should be awarded for the correct answer. Tactile maps are read by touch in a similar way to braille and moon text. However, those readers will only be able to understand what is represented if they are able to feel each part of a raised image and discriminate between them. Tactile discriminability depends on the quality of symbol and map designs, particularly the spacing between each part of a map or diagram. In a least restrictive environment, equal access to information is important. Students who are visually impaired are expected to perform at the same level as their peers. During test and assessment times, it can become evident that a student didn't do well because of poor map reading skills or the inability to read a chart or a graph. The use of tactile diagrams must be incorporated into the overall print to braille adaptation of material in a reasonable manner. As concerned professionals, we owe it to these children to share this issue and advocate that it be addressed systematically. It is essential for classroom teachers and the teacher of visually impaired to collaborate and work together closely in order for the teacher of the visually impaired to have time to create accessible maps and materials. The teacher of visually impaired may also need to provide models, for example, a model of a volcano or historical objects, depending on the topic. Materials need to be ready in a timely manner, so they will be ready when classmates are presented with similar materials.